You know. Yes, it's that time of year once more, when almost every married male on this planet hears the words, "It's not straight. It's got a lean on it." Yes, I'm talking about the Christmas tree. Yes, the humble Christmas tree. Every December it's the same. Barbara nags me scarce the page of the calendar leaves November behind. We're not leaving it too late this year either. I don't want to be rushing to get one the week before Christmas. So ankle deep in mud, we trudge around the local farmyard, looking at the festive arboreal treats on offer. Now I hold several up, in the hope that she will choose one quickly. "What about this one?" I offer. "No, it's got not much shape to it. And besides, it's too tall." "Well, it looks Christmas tree shaped to me," I attempt to reason. "Oh, try that one over there," she says. "What, this one?" "No, the one that's three behind it." "Quickly," she whispers. "We don't want anyone else getting to it. It looks a nice one." So, several horizontal Christmas trees lying in a large patch of brown manure later, I hold her preferred choice out at arm's length. "Hold it up straight. What do you think?" "Oh, it's a lovely tree. In fact, I don't think I've held a better one out since last year," I reply. "I don't think you're taking this seriously. Turn it round a bit. Let's see the other side." I'm not sure it will take up too much room in the alcove. Just turn it back again." "You'll have to take off a few of those bottom branches. Otherwise people will be brushing against it when they walk through the room." "Are you honestly telling me that people won't see that? Lit up like Blackpool illuminations?" I protest. We don't choose that one, and so I lean it back against the wall with the others. And immediately there is a rush to claim it by other prospective buyers. Barbara comments that they must have bigger front rooms, Ken. Well, finally, my hands punctured with pine needle marks, she is happy with the tree. And although I protest it won't fit into our holder, she's having none of it. "I think we'll get a nice wreath for the front door as well." "Why, has someone died?" Yes, this was my attempt at humour as the rain begins to fall more heavily. "You're not funny, Ken. What about this one?" 30 quid! It's a bit dear just to hang on the front door. Someone will be off with it during the night." "You say that every year, Ken, and nobody ever steals them. We'll have that one." Well, there's a first time for everything, I claim. Now, there's a lady standing by a blazing log burner, and she smiles approvingly. The lady's called Sally, and we went to school together. We only see each other once a year during the festive season. "Hello, Ken. Oh, must be that time of year again. How are you?" "Not bad, Sally. Can't complain," I jovially reply. "Well, that'll be just £80 for the tree and the wreath. Thank you." What? No discount for an old school friend? No answer for an old school friend's question either. Now Barbara is talking to some stranger whose husband is attempting to get a 7-foot tree into a Ford Fiesta, and yes, with some difficulty. "Barbara, I could do with a little help over here, when you've got a minute." You see, I'm attempting to hold a large Christmas tree and an expensive wreath in one hand, whilst trying to extract 8 £10 notes from my wallet with the other. "See you next year then," Sally says as I venture out into the December monsoon. "Oh, and by the way, I would get some vanish on that cow muck all down your coat before it sets hard. I find it's the only thing that almost gets it out." I'm trudging back to the car, and all I can smell is cow muck, as Sally had bluntly put it. "Oh, you'll have to put down the back seats to get the tree in," shouts Barbara. No chance of a hand then?" I tentatively inquire. "Well, I don't really want to get any dirt on this new coat. I mean, look what a mess you've made of yours." She turns to her new friend and says, "He's always wanting me to help, he is. I don't know how he'd cope if I dropped dead tomorrow." I give her that kind of exasperated look that Oliver Hardy used to do to the cameras all those years ago. So I lean the newly purchased Christmas tree against the side of the car. It falls over, lands in a puddle. And then I reach in to release the car seats. "Don't get any dirt on that wreath," Barbara calls from across the muddy farmyard. After I have a fraught 5 minutes, both tree and wreath are safely stored in the boot. And Barbara bids farewell to her new friend, whose husband is now struggling once more with the dimensions of his Ford Fiesta. Barbara casts a glance at him and says to her friend, "Trouble is, they give up just too easily." Back at the car, I open the passenger door for her. A partially rolled up and very wet umbrella lands on my lap, soaking my left trouser leg. "Where are you going to put that umbrella, Ken?" she asks. Well, I avoid the obvious response and throw it behind the passenger seats. "Mind that wreath, it cost £30. Fully aware of the financial cost, I drive the car home. "Have you trodden in something, Ken? There's an awful smell in this car." Oliver Hardy looks back at me from the rearview mirror. That's better. Now, it stopped raining when we reach home, and I look at my watch. It's almost midday. I think we'll have a nice cup of tea when we get in. What do you think, Barbara? We'll do no such thing. You have this tree to put up and the wreath to hang on the front door, whilst I have a warm bath. Oliver Hardy smiles at me in the rearview mirror once more. "Oh, you'll find the stand at the bottom shelf of the garage. It will need washing out as well. I don't want the smell of stagnant water all over Christmas. And talking of smells, are you sure you didn't tread in anything earlier? Check those shoes before you come into the house." And she marches through the front door and closes it behind her. "I'll bring your bloody umbrella in then, shall I?" I muttered to myself. Bloody Christmas tree. Bloody wreath. Now the stand is on my workbench at the very back of the garage, and the tree comes out of the car far more easily than it went in. I'm tempted to throw the wreath on the floor in protest, but that would be like setting fire to 3 £10 notes in my eyes, so I think better of it. Guess what? The tree doesn't fit into the stand by a Scarborough mile, and my attempts with a hacksaw, tenon saw and axe fail miserably, that is, at trimming it, and the only thing removed is a large chunk from the workbench. It's going to have to be the electric saw. Now, devoid of any electricity, the electric saw is a benign piece of equipment. But let loose and fed current from a socket, however, the thing takes on a life of its own and becomes a veritable beast, demanding a cautious approach and a sturdy pair of protective gloves. That is, if one is to avoid a visit to casualty. Well, after a few choice cuts, and without the loss of any fingers, I am ready to try the stand again. The tree fits, but rather loosely. But never mind, a large gap around the bowl will allow for watering. It's time to tighten up the holding bolts. So half a can of WD-40 later, and the rusted bolts have been loosened. Now, I have to say, the smell of WD-40 combined with cow muck is not appealing, and I feel quite nauseous as a result. I wonder if Vanish gets WD-40 out of a coat too. After a minimal amount of resistance, the bolts are tightened, and the tree is seemingly fully secured, so I stand it up on the garage floor. It falls over, knocking 3 bottles of Christmas Blue Nun off a shelf and onto the garage floor and all over the lower branches. I give up and carry the tree and the wreath over to the house. Now, after I've tied the wreath to the door knocker with the ribbon provided, I carry the tree into the house. "Oh, and take your shoes off before you go any further," Barbara calls from the upstairs bathroom. I stand the tree in its new home, and I'm amazed it remains upright. Yes, but the reason of that was that it was leaning against the wall. No sooner as I had sat down that she's appeared, apparently thawed out now. Did you check those shoes? There's an awful smell in here." Well, before I've had a chance to answer, it's not straight. It's got a lean on it. I don't know about you, but I'm having feelings of déjà vu here.